there are four basic types of hominoids, four basic types, and those divisions are around size more than anything else, just size. You have the Bigfoot Sasquatch type, which are 8 to 10 feet tall and average in the range of 800 to 1,000 pounds. Then you have what's called the abominable snowman or Yeti type, and that is a distinct type. It's the only one of its kind, and they are more primitive than the others. They have different feet, and they're more pongid-like in their feet and in their behavior. They're more belligerent. So the Yeti, abominable snowman, which are confined to the Himalayas, they don't seem to be found anywhere else, just the Himalayas, but the Himalayan ranges taken all together are about the size of the United States, so there's plenty of room. So you have now the Bigfoot Sasquatch kind, the giant kind, you have the abominable snowman Yeti kind, and they are in the man-size range, 5 to 7 feet tall, 300 to 600 pounds, but distinct. You have another man-size, 5 to 7 feet tall, 300 to 600 pounds, that generically is called the Almas because they dominate in Russia. There's the Almas, the Almasti. There are hundreds of names for these things around the world. Understand that for the four different types, there are hundreds of names. And so somebody just had to pick, so we sort of have picked the Almas as the type because so many Russians have done good work in this field. So sort of a lot of the literature was written from them about their kind, in the same way that Bigfoot Sasquatch has become the name for the large ones. So you have the Almas, 5 to 7 feet tall, 300 to 600 pounds. Then you have the pygmy kind, the Sidapas, the Agagwes, the Didi, around the world, and again, they are about 4 feet tall, in the range of 3 to 4 feet tall, in a range of 100 and 150 to 200 pounds. They're all powerful creatures, no matter what their size is. They're different from us physiologically. They are primates, like the gorillas and chimps. They're like gorillas and chimps that walk upright. That's all they are. They have all of the outward physical characteristics of greater primates. Starting with the covering of hair, but you have the heavy brow ridges, the lack of a forehead, the large, wide, flat noses, the mouths that stick off their face in the prognathous fashion, the lack of a chin, the very short, stout necks that look like no necks almost, but it's because the muscles in the trapezius area are so much more built up because their arms are longer than our arms, and they hang down around their knees, and they're just so robust. They need more musculature. They still have the same number of neck vertebrae, but it's a different design because it's more compressed. They don't have the throat air, the throat design that we have. So when everybody describes hominoids, and they're seen all over the world, again, every continent except Antarctica, on a regular basis, we get about 150 good reports a year here in the States on average. So these things are out there, and the people who are describing them are describing with great consistency what they're seeing wherever they're seeing it. That much smoke, obviously, there's fire, and there is. So the divisions are such that physiologically they all have the same general characteristics regardless of their size. And all the characteristics that we have from descriptions from credible witnesses who in many cases can't read, can't write, don't have television, but researchers have gone in, heard their stories, and these are people that don't even know the rest of the world is out there, and yet they will describe down to a T exactly what somebody in Outer Mongolia has seen and described, is exactly what somebody in Bhutan has seen and described, is exactly what someone in Podunk, Iowa has seen and described. When you have that kind of consistency, and they're all the same, very, very isolated individuals, or even very sophisticated people. You have policemen that have described them. You have doctors. You have all kinds of what you would term well-educated people. Again, saying the same thing, and certainly they will have had the ability to read what they are supposed to see and what they're supposed to look like, but nonetheless they all have this same consistency, whether they're educated, whether they're not educated, whether they're from the States or whether they're from a very isolated area in another part of the world. The consistency of the physiological descriptions indicate that those four major types hold up. But within those four types, graduated by size, could be a number of different kinds. And particularly within the almas kind, there seems to be two. Kaptars are sort of a different kind. They're the same sort, same size generally, but Kaptars seem to be a little bit different, and their tracks indicate that they might be different as well.